Well, that put in everybody. First, I'd like to encourage everybody to come up with Baltimore. You'll see the videos better. I was here last year. Last year when I was here, I brought some video movies that I shot all top in the sky. 20, 30,000 feet. And I brought some more. I brought quite a bit more videos. I'm continuing to shoot. Why is it no beaver since I was here? Over the last year, I've gotten quite interested in the government side of UFOs as far as what the space shuttle's been shooting, current and up to now, and what Bubba is all about. A couple of UFOs shot on 16mm film from Apollo, and my primary interest is skywatching in Arizona. Arizona is a very active place for UFOs. Well, last year when I was here, I was telling everybody that Phoenix is becoming the next Mexico City, that there's a lot of activity. I'm saying the same thing this year. 3 weeks ago, my name was in Phoenix, and when you see the video, encourage them to say the conclusion that what was going on in Mexico now has expanded to Arizona, possibly California, New Mexico, and Texas, southernmost states. So we got quite a bit of things going on. We have a hotspot. The golf racing is a hotspot for a number of years. It seems to have died out. Now, we have a lot of activity going on night and day. There are, across the board, there are dozens of videos from Phoenix with different people. And to kind of explain a little how I got into this, I live in Phoenix. I'm a drywall contractor. I spend probably 8 or 9 hours after work on this. I do this full time. I don't do this for a living. I'm a drywall contractor. The reason I got into UFOs when I was 4 years old, we were out fishing. We were family, something exploded with a sonic boom. It lit the sky at night and today. And we see this blowing up directly above our head, which landed 2.5 blocks away between us and trees and started shooting up colored balls of light. Well, as I grew up, I knew something was out, so I grew up with an open mind. And Project Blue Book came on when I was 6, 7 years old. I watched it, knowing something to this. Then I accidentally went to UFO. In 1991, before the Phoenix, I lived in South Dakota from the Midwest. By accident, I was filming a lightning storm in a black football-shaped object. Cruised through the lightning. It was approximately 300 feet long. That was an accident. But 6 months later, on the 4th of July, we were videotaping some fireworks we were shooting on, and these white objects are zigzagging in the background. A year later, I watched them wearing tape on them. What is that? So eventually I moved to Phoenix and got a drywall contracting here. And how I basically got into the point where I'm at now with all this video is many chemicals that shot on very large cylinders line that most people know. I called him up and I asked him, what's the story? This mothership they're playing on the news. And he told me that I should start skywatching because he thinks there's UFOs everywhere, and particularly around the sun. That they will go up and find themselves between you and the sun, and maybe that would be the first place to look. So I started doing this, and I've seen something with the naked eye. I've seen something with a videotape. Also, the tree flies. I shot approximately 70 to 100 hours of videotape. A lot from the sun. Then I noticed there's so many of these damn objects you can point around the sun, they're flying everywhere. And I continued to tape so much that I personally shot half of Masters and Stars by myself. And we are working on releasing this sometime later this year. And later, after I finally went public on the news, I started getting phone calls from other people around from Phoenix that there's some other people who were shooting this at the same time I was. I was aware of these people were and know anything about them, but they were shooting the same thing. And I brought some of the video to show you that too. So I've been skywatching in Phoenix since October of 1995, less than 2 years. Within that time, I showed triangular craft, cylinders, hockey pucks, and what it calls the line. I've got a pretty good across the board storm score. There's that much activity there. In fact, there's some other objects flying around, some friends of mine, which you haven't yet to get on videos of. The next year, I look back at what's called our next video. But before I get into this, I like to start off with a NASA video. Now, most people are familiar with the SDS-48 mission from 1991. An object was built by the Space Shuttle Discovery, coming up from the clouds and traveling to the left. Then it flashed up, shot with fire, and it did a 145 degree and shot up into space. That one's been seen quite a number of times. Actually, there were at least 7 different UFO events from SDS-48. Some of them are still coming to light now as researchers order these tapes from NASA. This tape I'm about to show you is rarely been seen to the public before. Some researchers have seen it, but it's a really amazing video. And I think what you're going to see is not like that's a lot. And it was shot by the Space Shuttle Discovery after what's known as Event 2, the famous one with the 145 degree turn. I'd like to show this to you now, and all you see. I only this is one video because this thing is an elongated type of paramecium looking object. One end of it seems to wiggle around, and it seems to spiral around itself. This, now, right here, this is an actual sun coming into the camera lens. Now watch this as they become interested in this particular object. What year was it shot? This was shot in 1994. Oh, they're long.
And now that everything you're checking out is late, the model of everything is not going.
Good view. Now, discarded a solar panel and some other Soviet satellite or is it?
You know, we track all that space characters.
Well, I didn't do it right down to that.
If you watch this object looks like it's alive. Doesn't really look like it's metal. More looks like a bipolar. Well, it's above the clouds. It's hard to tell. You don't have any reference to judge. I guess it may be 100 feet long, possibly. It's multicolored through the entire color spectrum. It is transparent. So, UFO, unless somebody can tell me what this big transparent 100-foot worm-like tube was flying over the clouds exactly is. It's categorically a UFO. They might have gotten upset too because they seem to have lost it, and they continue to look around for the what with the video camera trying to find it again. But they did not. Now, this video does show something. In my opinion, this shows a conspiracy from our space exploration unit called NASA. This video shows that they did videotaped an unknown object. They were interested in this, and they still did. They followed it. Now, they were talking about downloading information from different disks before this happened, and they casually mentioned that again after they were filming this. Was this filmed from the space shuttle? I don't know. This could have been. The camera could have been operated from ground control. But it does show that somebody had an interest. There's the videotape. This video was ordered from NASA. It was received by Yellow Branch. So they know about this. Why wasn't there a big press announcement? New life form discovered something. Because they don't want us to know about this type of thing. There's lots of these videos. I have maybe almost 10 dozen shuttle missions showing very anomalous objects of things. One of the most recent is from SDSA, which was videotaped December 1st of 1996. Bill Hamilton will be showing this video a little later on, and it's probably the best NASA video I've shot today. This video is incredible. In fact, we are still waiting for a word back from NASA. We've sent this video to a number of the best researchers in the world, and we can't get anything back from it. It's a whole stonewall on SDSA. It's not able to see this video. It's incredible. Now, one thing I do that's quite different is I take technology and I add another piece of technology with it. We make a new system. Systems that normally aren't used. And this is one of them. This is a super VHS camera, an AG450 industrial model with a laser scope on it that you would normally use on a gun. Why do I put a laser scope on a video camera? Because after taping these things dozens and dozens of times in Phoenix, sometimes it's hard to find through the viewfinder. Sometimes a really nice object flies in, but you just can't get it on tape. Well, I decided that this was unacceptable. There's technology out there to solve this problem. One of them is lasers. Now they're being used widely on telescopes. Put the red dot on the UFO and you're reporting it. No two ways about it. This is one example of how I take existing technology, which is very cutting edge in the United States. We get our hands on some incredible stuff, and put it into the war on the UFO cover. And I call it war, in my opinion, it is a war. It's a war against the government. Because this isn't a game. This isn't us out there videotaping this to get on the news for little kids. We spend thousands of dollars, hundreds of hours out there skywatching. Why? Because we've seen these things. There are a lot of us, some people here probably met these things. And when they get on TV and laugh at this and dismiss it and give lousy explanations like balloons and flares and swamp gas, that's unacceptable to people who've seen this. And I call this a war because these UFOs are out there. There are certain places like Phoenix, Mexico City, England, Pine Bush, where these things show up quite a bit. You have an opportunity to see these. You have an opportunity to take and photograph these and publish this material. Now, one guy, as myself, can shoot all he wants, and they can say something's wrong with me because I have too much of it. But what if there's a whole group like me, a team, shooting this? It's pretty hard to take out a team of people shooting at the same time around town trying to do this. And I've been really working my butt off to get a lot of people together. And in the last year, this has been happening. Now, I'd like to move to some of the videotape I had shot in case of you weren't here last year to see this. This is my own copy. A lot of people leave there before copies of this, and I can't do it. It's virtually warm up this camera, and VCR is trying to do it. This is the tape that works. It's going to be released sometime at the end of 1997. It will complement Masters of the Stars. I've been in great contact with the elders. We exchanged footage quite a bit. You've seen this. And this was shot by myself and Mike DeVarennes in Phoenix. And this needs to be removed. Mike DeVarennes is the name that everybody did. He's one of the people I consider a special forces type person with a video camera. This guy has shot dozens of daylight videos of Phoenix within the last year. His latest one was approximately 4 laps. He bought a new camera and he's shooting better video. And you should be hearing quite a bit about this man because he is what I consider hardcore skywatch. He almost takes the video camera to the bathroom at his work. Why does he have so much video? Because he takes his camera everywhere he goes. That's one lesson in skywatching. Always have your camera ready, always have a tape in it, and 2 or 3 fresh batteries, because batteries mysteriously are dead. So always have fresh batteries and tape in there, if possible, a laser. But with this with you, and a pair of binoculars ID, which will should be ready. Now this thing. Oh! That's not mine today.
They got one in.
Exciting sign of the Phoenix forum. Okay, now there's some rock man video that we'll be into, but I've kind of overlaid some video in 2.5 minutes. You'll see several clips of what we've been shooting in Phoenix. So I'll just let this roll and so we're slamming. Usually a couple seconds per side, and some of the sightings are 30 seconds, some of these videos are 20 minutes long. This was footage from March 13th that made worldwide news. This is some computer analysis from one of the videos that I drew. The flying go out there on November 11th is the biggest. We can blow up the power. This was the first time I filmed a piece of footage at night. This is basic footage right now from Mike DeVarennes. This tape was put together before the mass sightings of March 13th. Showing we have an entire history of UFO footage and phenomenon taking place before 10,000 people were able to see the mass sighting. This is a taking the works that we can never complete because there's a new piece of footage every 2 weeks to a month that needs to be added, so it's hard to say, it's over. Let's put it out to the public. I can send somebody some footage and then the back side can happen and it wasn't on his tape, it was disappointing. Let me show you an example of how for each stage. I'm sure, man. That's what I'm flying over my house the other weekend. Okay, this was shot May 9th with a 26-power camera. Watch the outcome as it seems pretty erratic. Mike usually does not shoot white objects. For a reason I cannot come up with, most of the objects Mike ever shoots are black balls. Most of them are pretty small in the video camera, but he's bought a new camera. He's been able to see these black balls with much better resolution. So, are they balloons, the aircraft, the UFOs? We're getting very close to figuring out initially the black balls. What's interesting about that video is it's dropped down on a tree. It disappeared, didn't come out behind the leaves, and reappeared at another point in the sky. This was at 12:30 on March, or May 9th, in Phoenix, and at 3:30, he went out and break again. He recorded some more video, this time there were 2 of them. This is raw, it hasn't been edited from television, so please jump forward for just a second. Okay, he shot this at 3:30, and then had another side, and at 5:30 he was able to understand. But in this video, there's 2 objects. One comes down from the top. Up here, it starts splashing as it comes down, there's a full supply bottle on the primary light outlet. Sometimes when you're lucky, Phoenix will be some clouds, which is rare, and you can see how high these are, which you'll see them flying right through the clouds. But usually it's a sunny, very hot blue sky in Arizona. Now, let me go real quick to his latest video. Black helicopters in Phoenix. They're not really, I don't personally see the biggest speak about black helicopters unless they're riding off the road. They're manufactured in Arizona, they're flown and tested in Arizona. We see them all the time, and they're nothing that we should. So there's not some of them. Well, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna move forward to the biggest event Arizona's seen in a long time, as far as UFOs go, and that happened on March 13th, between 8 o'clock and 10:15. This day, the state was besieged with UFO activity for 2 hours. Which started in Prescott, or excuse me, started in Paulette at 8:16, within 2 minutes it had moved to Prescott. And at age 18, it was in Prescott, Arizona. What was it? It was a very large formation between 5 to 7 white lights, moving very low and very slow. This was seen by several hundred people up in that area. Then, by the time 8:25 came around, this object had made its way down Phoenix. By 8:30, it seems to have left the city with thousands of witnesses seeing this object move over at balloon speed and was captured one time, I believe, only once, and that was in Carefree. Later, UFO activity, at least in Phoenix that we're aware of, didn't stop. There was another triangle that moved down the state, and Bill has more information on that. And how I got involved in this was on March 13th, we were gonna have a quick dinner with Stephen Drew. And Bill Hamilton had some reports that there was some UFO activity occurring nightly in Phoenix. A man had shot video, and Bill asked me if I wanted to take my gear and come with it. I said, you bet. So we went over to this man's house named Steve. When we ran to his house, there were people all over the place, in and out the door. You just missed it. We just had a sighting, and we videotaped it. Oh, no, 5 minutes late. So we went into Steve's house, watched the video he had shot March 10th, 11th, and 12th. And I asked him, where do you see him this day? So he takes us out to his balcony. And was going to take a second word, I was going to leave a statement. It was on this previously known X-ray tape, which I'm sure there's none of them. They got me one and went on to give someone a cue of the mass spending footage. I know what you're thinking, this guy can't even give us, takes to you, how can we know what you are following? But anyway, on March 13th, I don't know how many people have seen the footage on network TV and whatnot, but the facts are there were 4 videotapes shot at the same time. The video that Mr. Hamilton and myself shot was one of them. We were approximately 10 miles away from these objects. The other videos were shot behind us from the northern part of the city, and they were approximately 25 to 35 miles away. Because of this rare opportunity to have all of these cameras on one target, we were able to triangulate these objects work over these 3 mountains, which is within the Gila River Indian Reservation. Now, lately these objects have been debunked and explained as flares by our local UFO who claims the DEA is not practicing under the Indian reservation. We went out and taped military force with this camera that videotaped these UFOs. They're not flares. 5 air traffic controllers from Sky Harbor Airport seen these objects. They looked at them, they looked at the radar, and at first they thought they were flares, and they started watching these things hover in a formation and said, like, there's no way these things could be flares. There were very mysterious and weird orange-colored lights in the sky. And this should be close. Our little tapes. There was extended news coverage of this. I would say between 12, 13 local broadcasts on the local news. It's still continuing. This is a huge controversy in Phoenix. Where are the UFOs and where are the flares? Does the military know? Probably the government's not doing anything about it. Likely the government has. One member of the city council is getting interested in what happened. And right now, I'm going to roll the original proclamation from March 13th. This was shot at almost 10 o'clock.
This is the location. This is Gilbert. There's no. We got it. It's running. Cool. So it's there. Somewhere here. There's 2 side by side.
This was the first. Natalie started.
I got that. I got four. Major sliding here.
That's still in the air. We trying to figure out how to watch. Maybe when I thought, it's really not ready to say all, whether it was or not, on the thing on the head.
They're lined up and it happens, and there's geometry behind this. There, this is. We're top right now.